Teen-centric.
Teen-centric.
You're listening to Teen-centric.
Teen-centric.
KPPQ, LP Ventura, 104.1 FM.
Hello, this is Craig Rosen, your host for Teen-centric. For those of you returning to the program, thank you for tuning in. Anyone new to the broadcast, I interview poetry students I work with, many of whom are incarcerated at Juvenile Hall. But this program is really here to provide a platform for all teens. I think it's very difficult to be a teen, especially in today's world. My interview is with a young man who at first brush would be so easy to dismiss as a person who's been involved in a criminal lifestyle. He's really a very deep, thoughtful young man. And you will hear through his willingness to explain what it feels like and the emotional impact that seeing violence has on a young person, and how it leads to altering your philosophy for fear of your own life and choosing a path that, while many would disagree with, we have to come to understand is something that is often a choice made out of survival and not preference. We'll listen to his story.
Can you remember to a time when you barely even knew the whole gang life and like what it was like to first come around it? Because obviously you started young.
Yeah, I was full of fear, very full of fear.
Full of fear?
Yeah.
At what age?
At the age of 10.
10?
Yeah, I started coming around my homies and my brother when I was like around 10. And then I officially became from my neighborhood when I was 12 years old.
That's when you got jumped in?
Yeah, at the age of 12, I got jumped in by 10 homies.
10 homies.
10 homies.
So putting hands on you.
Yeah, one by one, each one, and then they all jumped me at the end.
Ooh. Kicking too or just hitting?
Kicking.
Kicking.
Everything you can think of is the initiation. You gotta see if you're worthy of it.
Right. But you gotta take a big beating.
Yeah. But I got an extra one for lying about my age.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I got an extra beating for lying about my age.
At that time?
Yeah, because I had told him I was 14 and I was 12 years old.
And who knew?
My brother when he came.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He told him?
Yeah, he told him.
He's only 12.
Yeah, he's only 12.
They're like, smack him again, smack him again.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So what happened? Like broken ribs or broken bones?
I came out with a broken nose and it broke in 2 different parts. And then I remember I broke my pinky. And then, yeah, that's about it.
As sore as can be.
Yeah, I had 2 purple eyes. They popped both my blood vessels in my eyes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's pretty
But
crucial.
you couldn't go to the hospital?
No, I couldn't. I had to stay home.
You just had to go home and suck it up, put ice on it,
Take like
put
a
frozen peas on it.
Yeah.
Damn, man. Well, that's pretty real. So you said you were super scared at 10. You were scared because of all the things you saw happen on the streets?
I was scared. I was mostly scared about that, and because I knew if I made a wrong move, my own homies would turn on me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you even felt scared of the people that you knew and potentially trusted?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I was scared because I knew if I went home, there was nobody there for me either. So I wanted to be somewhere, you know?
You wanted to make sure you were protected.
Yeah.
And that's what the gang is, right?
Yeah, the gang offers you family, love, protection.
Yeah.
And that's why I joined it.
Uh-huh. And so, do you remember a day where it just became clear to you, like it was in one moment, or was it a gradual thing, or was it inevitable, where there was never really thoughts of not doing it? Or how did it come about in your mind? You know what I mean?
Oh, like when it became normal for me?
Or just when you knew, this is why I'm going to do this?
Oh, when I knew? When I knew that I was gonna live my life and never stop like this. The day I joined.
Yeah.
The same day I joined, I knew that there's no turning back.
But had you been like really debating about it in your head, like, oh, maybe I shouldn't?
Yeah, on my birthday, on my 12th birthday, that was the day I became letter. I was thinking about it really hard because I knew that there was no turning back now.
No turning back.
And I was scared because I knew that one day I might die in the streets or I might end up in prison my whole life. And I thought about it hard.
But you did, at 12, you were really thinking about that.
Yeah, and I mean, many people say that, you know, you're a 12-year-old, you don't know what you're doing, but I know what I'm doing.
You did?
To the day, I know what I'm doing still.
Okay.
I still have the same mentality as when I was 12 years old.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Committed.
No
matter what?
No matter what.
Really? So you don't think there's another way?
I don't want to think there's another way.
Oh, I see. You don't want to let those thoughts in because that could make you weak.
Yeah.
Right.
So as our conversation turned to making a choice to get into this lifestyle, I played for him an audio that I had made with another young man incarcerated in the hall, somebody that he knows, who actually came up from the same neighborhood in Oxnard that he did. It's a comment that he had made about how when you get sent upstate, if you go to prison, suddenly you'll find yourself bunking up, as they say, sharing a cell with somebody who could be from a rival neighborhood, rival gang, and now you have to get along. And I asked him to comment on that, and then he went and took it to another level back in the hood. And when you hear these things, to the outsider, it's very hard to understand, but there is a philosophy. So I'm going to play first the audio from the previous interview, which I shared with my current guest, and then you'll hear his responses to that.
Say if I chose to gangbang and I chose to shoot a guy from El Rio, like an El Rio boy, and I get caught for it, I end up going upstate to prison. I'm gonna have to get along with my rivals. That I put all that effort into gangbanging just so I could be bunked up with them probably and get along with them. What's the point of gangbanging?
Right.
That's how I see it. Like,
that's real though, isn't it?
Yeah, that is real. You gotta run politics. A lot of my homies, I be pulling up to their house, my older homies are, and they be having rivals over. And to me, it's like, what the hell, you know?
Oh, they do?
Yeah, they be
because
having
they met them from
county or prisons. And to me, it's like, my older homies tell me, if you wanna fight them, but they're not gonna leave. All right then, so I go ahead and I fight them and then I leave.
Really? That's how it plays out?
Yep.
But then the people who are friends with them don't get mad at you for fighting them because they understand where you're coming from, but they're just like, I see something different.
Yeah, they understand because as youngsters, we can't be doing that. We can't be talking to them. But if you're bunked up with them in the county or you go to prison with them, you know, you're basically watching out for each other's lives. So
it's almost like a pass.
Yeah.
And everybody just understands those are the rules of the game.
Yep.
And you learn that at a pretty young age.
Yeah.
But like you're saying that sometimes that can happen and you can't expect it. Like you go over to somebody's house and then, oh man, there's a rival.
Yeah.
What the hell's he doing here?
Yeah. It's unexpected.
It's really unexpected?
Yeah. No, my homies don't tell me like, hey, come over, you know, there's a rival.
Right, there's gonna be a rival over here.
Yeah.
But then after that happens, you tell some of the other younger homies so they understand it. Like to be on the lookout for it maybe? Or what, like was it even worth fighting a guy for something like that?
To me it is.
To you it is?
Yeah, because when they were younger, they're doing the same thing. But now they're just getting along with my homies and they're all about business now.
Right, they're talking some business in there.
Yeah.
But you're feeling like you have to show for your hood.
Yep.
And you ain't from my hood, so I have to throw hands with you. And yet
I have to let them know where he's at.
your other friends aren't even gonna partake because they're friends with them now.
Yeah. Unless like he starts dissing the neighborhood, that's when they have to get in.
He's probably not gonna do that, right?
Yeah. He won't do that. They're not
stupid,
yeah.
right? They live that long because they understand. But okay, so you're telling me this because to you it makes sense, right? You've seen it, you've been part of it, and you understand it.
I understand.
Now, what if you step back for a minute and you're not you for a second? You're just listening to this. Can you see how somebody else is like, man, that doesn't even make sense?
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
You can see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The questions and everything.
Well, it just seems weird. Like some guy's friends, some guy's an enemy. They're all hanging out. And they all know each other. It's like, why can't we be friends?
Yeah.
And then it does make me wonder sometimes if that whole embracing of violence is just, it's a choice. But there is a choice to say, well, maybe that's not the way. But you just don't want to let that kind of thinking in, huh?
Nah, I don't.
You just don't?
No, I was raised on violence.
Yeah.
You know? If you're not about violence, then you're not you don't cut the part.
I see. You ain't gonna make it.
Yeah.
But it is true that it's also what you saw, right? So you
Yeah.
see how people they see that, but if they hadn't seen that, it might be different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I hadn't seen all that, I'm pretty sure I probably would have turned out different.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have to go every night with remembering everything.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, what other kind of perspective though could you might give to somebody who's just really doesn't understand, doesn't want to understand the way you have to live?
What can I tell them?
Yeah. Or what would you want to tell them? Is there anything you'd want to tell them? Like, come on, man, just understand me for a minute.
I mean, I wouldn't go out of my way to tell somebody, understand the way I'm living if they don't want to, because they have their own life, you know.
Right.
But if they wanna know and the way I live, then yeah, I'll let them know. Like, this is the way I have to live to stay alive. Like,
It's literally a survival question.
Yes.
So, like, if you decided not to claim your hood that way and not to get affiliated, do you think you'd have to leave? Or how do the people navigate those streets that just are not making that choice? Do the gangs just eventually ignore them because they're like, "Oh, that kid's soft," or something like that?
Nah, you gotta keep your head down.
Just gotta keep it down.
Keep it down, and it's mostly up to you.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to join it or not.
But they're recruiting some kids, right? They're looking out for like some homie that looks like he could be a little soldier. Right?
Yeah, you look out for a homie that's tough, a homie that I mean, it kind of sounds bad, but a lot of homies target the homies that don't have nothing to look forward to, because those are the homies that are gonna ride to the end.
Yeah.
So if you see a kid, you know, he has problems at home, not an older homie, but somebody's gonna like take him under his wing and tell him, you know, like, this is the way it's gonna go down. And if you want to, then join it, and if not, then, you know, get out of here. And I mean, you don't want to get punked by gangsters, you know, when you're a little kid, so you wanna go on their side.
That, so you gotta show.
Yeah.
Show the real side, right? Yeah, I feel that. But it's weird. It's almost like putting a baseball team together or something.
Yeah.
There's a general manager out there saying, "Oh, he'd be good. No, we don't need him. We got to go talk to that guy."
Exactly. I don't go out of my way to go look for little homies or homies to recruit, because
right.
I don't like that, you know?
Yeah, that feels a little wrong to you, maybe?
Yeah.
I get you. Like you said, it doesn't sound good, because what if somebody went to talk to that guy to try to help him?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like say, "Oh man, it sucks that your family's all broken like this, but let's..." Because, you know, one of the things that that they're doing out there these days, because like the kind of work I do, you know, like the arts, right? Trying to show people like the arts. So now they're talking about trying to get kids when they're young, and the first ticket they ever get, instead of sending them to probation and writing up the citation, they're like, maybe we could send them to a program, get them trying something else, you know?
Yeah.
What do you think about something like that?
To be honest, I don't regret the way I live, but I wish I had that type of support.
Right.
I wish I did, because I wouldn't have turned out the way I turned out now.
I'm sure about that, man. For you, it's like you really see the connections, you know, and you see how it could be different. But once the choice is made, I guess what you're saying to me is, once the choice is made, and once you're really in it,
No turning back.
there's no turning back. Damn, that's hard though, huh?
Yeah.
That's hard. I mean, wow, that's real.
Yeah.
I appreciate you keeping it real with me,
Yeah.
because I don't want to BS you. You know I respect you, right? You know that.
I respect you too.
Yeah, well, thank you. And that's why I want to keep it real, but it's like, I ask these questions simply because there's so many people that just don't understand. And also, maybe one day it could be better for another kid or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
You know?
I wouldn't wish my life upon someone else.
You wouldn't?
I wouldn't.
No.
Like, I even want to see, if I ever have a son, I want him to live a right life.
You don't want them in the gang.
I don't want him in the gang now.
Now, how do you think a gangster who has a child can keep him out of the gang?
I have to move him up.
You have to move out of the hood.
I have to move out of the
But then what would you do? Would you still be banging?
I'll move him out with his mom.
You what?
I'll
No.
move him out with his mom.
With his mom. Oh,
Yeah.
I see. So you stay representing,
Yeah, yeah.
but he'd be out with his mom, and you just go see him sometimes, but not let him into the hood.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right, that's interesting.
Yeah, they won't. I feel like people, like your son will try to look up to you,
Right.
even try to beat your record.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Like on a video game, I'll beat your score. Wow. That you would figure out that there could be a way to have your own boy, but keep him out. Okay, well, so then when you were saying to me a minute ago, like, you don't really look for the youngsters to try to rope them in because you don't feel that. You just do your own thing. But then there is this young dude in the hall, so you're looking out for. I see you looking out for him, right? Because he's already in,
Yeah.
right?
It's too late for him.
He's in.
Yeah.
He's already been jumped in.
Yeah.
Yeah, he went through it. You think he was your age when he did? Because he looks young now.
Nah. Well, he was almost around their age.
Yeah.
He's about 14.
Okay.
And then, yeah, he's about 14 right now. I got jumped in when I was 12.
Yeah. You think his was pretty recent?
Yeah, his was recent.
Recent, okay. Yeah, so he's already in, but then you feel like a certain protection, like I'm gonna look out for him because he's young.
Because
he's
he's younger,
here.
he's smaller.
He's smaller, exactly.
And like,
So that's cool. I respect that. I
treat him like my little brother.
I see you looking out for him. You know, I see that. I respect that. Because there's been a couple times where I've seen some really small kids in here, and I've wondered, oh man, that's got to be a little scary for them, even if they don't want to. Everybody doesn't want to admit to fear, but like you're saying, you wouldn't even be real if you didn't say you had fear.
Yeah.
Right? So I wondered about that. So I thought that was cool of you, man. I really did. So tell me what it's been like to write poems. Did you ever think you'd do something like that?
Never. I never thought I'd do something like this. But when I write it, I feel like I could let go of all my problems. Concentrate on it and everything just goes away.
I come from where gunshots and sirens are off and on, where you creep with steel just to get along, where families' hearts get broken and no tears are shown, where every youngster wants a throne, kidding for sidewalks that we won't ever own. Some homies won't ever come home. These streets took my brother and my conscience, but many will say I'm full of nonsense. I remember when I first came around, a scared little kid lost on his way to the playground. I was 11 years old when I got in my first fist fight. I was 13 the first time I saw a gun ignite. I tried drugs, let them control my body, but not my mind. Cause if you're an addict, you're considered weak on my side. I lost my childhood at juvenile hall. No rules when I play ball. My mother cried when she found out her boys were gang members. How many times she cried, I can never remember. No letters, no phone calls, just cold showers and four walls. It's not me to complain, so I stay low key and stay in my lane. I've been in and out for 5 years now. My mom always asking why I live out. When I'm out, I smoke till I fill my lungs. Surround myself with cold-hearted gangsters and pack guns. But even in the trenches, I still have fun. It's a war zone where I'm from. I'm from a block where one day controls it all. The lanes slide up and are quick to fall. Where we all care for one another, defend each other like brothers. Full of love, but cold-hearted when we turn to gunners. All different characters, like from the same mother. Some goofy and some mean, some tall and some lean. Some still here, others unseen. Many people say gangsters have no heart or no feelings because of all the violence and all the cat peelings. But how can they say that when we're all still healing? I cried when I lost my brother to jail. I was mad and amazed when I saw his bed. If you want to, go out and get it. But this is the life, so make sure you don't regret it. If you only knew how long I've been down in the blues. Families and homies dying while I'm acting a fool. They say that they understand, but run away at the first clue. You might say I'm lost and confused, but trust me when I tell you I calculate my every move. I'm mature but hesitant to change. I don't want my family to see me live my life in chains. I apologize to my family for all the tears and pain, but maybe one day they'll see me change.
Have you been able to see that you got a pretty good little hand at this, man? You got some chops. You got what they call skills. Do you see that? You feel that?
I mean,
I ain't trying to make you out to be like the next big rapper or nothing, but I'm saying you've got a nice way to turn a phrase in there.
yeah.
You see that, right?
Yeah, I can see that.
Good. I'm glad you can see that because honestly, I've been doing this for a long time and there's a lot of people that write and I want to be positive to everybody, but every so often someone kind of like steps up a little bit. I'm like, uh-oh, he's got something in him.
Yeah.
And you know, these poems are coming out of you pretty regularly. I'm impressed, is what I'm telling you right here.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So you said it makes you feel like you can let go of your problems. Tell me some more about that. How does it feel?
I keep all my emotions inside, and I know that personally, because I don't talk about it. But when I write these poems, like it just all comes out.
Okay.
And like it feels like I get a whole relief, and like a whole load taken off my shoulders. And then I just read them, and then when people read them as well, some people could relate to it, and I like that. Some people look at it and like they're amazed, because they never lived like that.
Right. Who have you been able to show them to?
I've shown them to my mom, showed them to my sisters, and I showed them the last book that I was in, the one that had a couple of them. I showed them to my friends when I was out, but that was a long time ago.
But you did? You showed it to them on the house?
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm proud of it.
Nice. I'm glad to hear that because I don't always get those stories.
Yeah.
You know, for me, but I'm kind of like curious, like what happens?
Yeah, I'm say it with pride. I'm proud of all this.
Good for you. What's it like showing your family, man?
I mean, sometimes I like to show my family the ones that aren't that, shows a lot or says a lot.
Not full gang related.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I show it to them and they get sad because they know it's true.
Right.
And they just start crying and then they try to support me a little bit more. And I kind of don't like that.
You do?
I don't.
You don't?
Yeah, I don't like how they try to like support me now,
Oh, you mean you're like, where were you?
Yeah, well, it's not like where were you, but like it's just weird now for them to try to show me love.
Whereas you weren't feeling it as much.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't get it at all,
You didn't get it at all?
I didn't get it at all. Only from my brother.
Your brother?
Yeah, me and my brother went through it together.
Okay.
So that's how it is. Like, it feels really weird when my mom hugs me. My mom holds my hand and cries for me. Like, sometimes the way I feel when I go to visiting, I look around and I see like my sisters when I get the special visit. Sometimes I just ask myself, like, who the hell is these people, But like at the same time, I know they're my family and I care for them too.
Yeah, but it could feel almost like strangers.
It feels like strangers.
Wow, that's heavy. So, do you ever think like, okay, so I wasn't getting that love then, and it feels weird that it's coming now, but like, what was going on for your mom back then or something? Like, was she just not in a place where she could even do it? Was she like using some things herself?
No, my mom has always been sober. She's a sober person. I love her,
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is that she was like addicted to her job.
To her job.
So my mom was never home. She was always at work. Always at work.
Oh, okay.
She would come back, like, we had what we need, My mom would spoil us, but she was just not there.
Right.
My sisters, they were always with my grandma. My grandma would take care of them, and me and my brother would be left alone in the house.
Right.
And then we didn't have to worry about no curfew. Nothing like that. We're already like 8. That was like since we were little kids, Like young. Not even 8, less than 8.
Less than 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were already on the street, in the front porch, going up down the street. Started going even more. Started entering the hood. We lived across the street from the hood,
Right.
So
No dad?
No dad. My dad has been deported many times. Was a gang member as well from my rival neighborhood. So
Yeah. So
I know my mom wanted the best for us, but the thing is that she just wasn't there. And then once she started realizing that we were deeply in it, it was already too late.
I see. So did she not know that was kind of the scene that was potentially there to grab her kids?
She didn't know because me and my brother kept it on the low profile.
I see.
We didn't want to ring it around the house. And,
Right.
So me and my brother would never do dumb stuff and go back to the house. If we did dumb stuff, we would stay outside. And if, we wouldn't dress the part. We wanted to stay as low profile as we could because we don't want to be in the system. But this is where I got caught up now,
Yeah.
I ended up getting caught up, but I never wanted to be in the system. I knew the way I had to go out is you stay low profile until you get caught. And you don't want to get caught.
Right, for sure.
So yeah, I just stayed low profile I could. And my mom didn't know. My mom didn't know until it was late.
Really?
Yeah.
She had no idea. But how about like when you jumped in and you have all those bruises and...
My mom, like I said, my mom was always at work.
So she didn't even see that?
Nope.
But then somebody had to be feeding you when you were 8. Who was doing that?
My brother and I'll go to my grandma's house.
Oh, you go over there like where your sisters were?
Yeah, but my grandma would just think it was me and my brother fighting because me and my brother grew up fighting,
Oh, I see.
Always beating the hell out of each other.
Right.
So
She just thought it was another day.
yeah, so I would go out there, and then once I did. I started coming in when I was 12 too. I started coming into the juvenile hall when I was 12.
Okay. Wow. So you were little, like,
Yeah.
out there.
I was
it scary?
Yeah, it was really scary. Like, if you weren't going around with somebody that was holding, or if you weren't holding yourself, passing guns, then that'll cost your life. Like, even if you're young, there's no age in gangbanging. If someone older than you pulls up on you and you throw it up, you're gonna get smoked.
Right. I'll tell you one thing though, I'm glad you have this outlet. If it helps you, that makes me happy. You deserve it, everybody deserves it, Like, we can't change what happened, but at the same time, I feel like, well, if it brings you some joy or some peace, good, even some respect. One thing I will say is that I've heard staff sometimes reading the books, and they've been like, oh man. They're like, I might have to just chill a little bit, when if I'm mad at him or something, just try to remember, hey, I didn't have to go through that.
Yeah.
So
I
I'm
see
like,
that too.
that makes a difference.
Yeah.
So it's like, in a way, man, you're affecting some change in people's lives with what you write. That's deep.
Yeah.
That's deep. I don't know what to tell you except that I'm really glad you've been writing. I hope you'll keep writing.
Yeah, I will.
Good. I'll keep typing up your poems.
Yeah.
Is there any subject that we didn't cover that you might want to cover? Is there anything else you want to express to the world about your circumstance?
I want to express that we are fading still. Like, under all this hate, under all this anger, I feel sad. I have a pretty sad life,
Yeah, I understand.
I have a lot of love, all that. A lot of people say that we're full of anger, but we're not.
Well, thank you for talking to me today, man. It makes a difference.
Thank you.
I don't know how anyone listening to what my guest had to say at the end of that interview can hear it and not be moved. That he wants people to know that people like himself are not all rage and anger, that there's sadness and they have feelings and there's love. He wasn't just saying those things to impress me. He wasn't going to get any points or an early release from this interview. None of it is an act. It's just simple math that he was laying out. 2 + 2 = 4. He's out on the streets with his brother at age 7. No parents at home. 12 years old, he's in the halls. He's already in trouble, and by 18, he's fully ingrained in this lifestyle that sees no way out. And yet, throughout the interview, we heard him able to say that things worked out differently for him. He wouldn't have turned out this way, that he wouldn't wish his life on someone else, that he would like to have a child and not have him end up this way. And he doesn't reject the other side or the other way of living. He just feels like it passed him by. His chance was too late. I think it's very moving to hear him say that he takes pride in the work that he's been doing just with me. Imagine if somebody had introduced him to sports, a mentor had shown him some sports, and he turned out to have talent in that. He's really quite a skilled writer. It really hurts to sit across from somebody who's thoughtful, sensitive, able to understand that the life he chose and that the way he lives is not one that many people would respect, that he wishes things were different for himself. And then to hear him basically say that he's not going to be able to change, he doesn't see himself change, and he doesn't even want to. And it's heartbreaking because I'm not even laying any judgment at his feet. I'm just seeing somebody who it's clear to me is capable and could easily have had an entirely different life, been a productive member of society, been somebody that didn't say the things he said about how his life is sad, how he has to have these thoughts all the time when he goes to sleep at night about the things that he's witnessed and been part of and had happened to him. He doesn't want to regret the way he chose to live his life because he's a survivor, because he feels like he wasn't given choices. So he had to make something out of himself, but he is able to say that things would have been different and he wouldn't wish his life on someone else. And it's moving. You've been listening to Teen Centric on KPPQ LP Ventura at 104.1 FM. Thank you for tuning in. I'm your host, Craig Rosen. Teen Centric is a partnership with the Ventura County Arts Council, CAPS Radio, and the Ventura County Probation Agency. We receive funding for this program from the California Arts Council's Jump Starts grant that provides support for arts instruction to system-engaged and at-risk youth. The music you heard was written, composed, and recorded by Nick Salcedo, owner and operator of Wild Boar Recording Company in Camarillo. This program does not necessarily represent the opinions of KPPQ. You can hear Teen Centric Mondays at 11:30 a.m., Thursdays at 1:30 p.m., and Fridays at 9 a.m. Thanks for tuning in.